back. Today's video is going to be my everyday autumn makeup routine using some of my favourite drugstore products. I haven't sat down and filmed a makeup routine in what feels like months and months. I think maybe the only other one that I did was my everyday makeup routine, which was more of a spring-summer look, and in autumn I tend to use a slightly thicker base, a bit more contouring and a really nice deep coloured lip. So without further ado, this is my everyday autumn makeup routine. So the first thing I'm going to be using is the No. 7 Airbrush Away Primer. I find this is a really good product for making my pores look a little bit smaller and any fine lines, maybe from just, you get lines in your sleep, the pillow lines, you know what I'm talking about. This just helps to smooth them out and it creates a really good base for my makeup. So I'm going to start by applying this just on my fingers all over my face. It's called Airbrush Primer and I really do find that it gives quite a soft focus effect to my skin, so especially if I'm going to have some photos taken in the day, then I find this a really good one for that. If I've got any special occasions, I'll always reach for this, and I'd say it's quite a good dupe for the Hourglass Mineral Veil, is that what it's called? The Hourglass, really expensive one. It's got a bit of a silicone-y feel, but not as much as the Benefit. I'm really bad at remembering product names today. The Professional, I think it's called, the one in the turquoise tube. Similar texture to that, but not quite so silicone-y. For my base, I'm using the Rimmel Match Perfection Foundation. If you guys have watched my videos or read my blog for a little while, you'll know how much of a fan I am of this one. I use it all the time as like an everyday and also for a special occasion foundation. Really similar to a very expensive Hourglass product. The coverage is really good on this, so great if you want a little bit more coverage. And I find that it does give a lovely airbrush finish, so great in autumn if you just want to have a really flawless base. So I'm just dotting it on. And then I'm going to use my Zoeva Silk Finish Foundation brush. Apologies, it's really dirty. I've not had time to clean my brushes before this video. I also find this one really quick and easy to blend in. Some foundations, especially thicker ones, can just take forever to blend, but this one, it just does not give any lines or anything like that. It's just super quick and easy to blend in. I take it all the way down my neck because especially in winter, sometimes my face and my neck can be slightly different colours because I do use gradual tan and fake tan quite regularly. At the moment I'm really loving the Vita Liberata Fabulous Tan. Gives a really nice colour, but I don't use it on my face, so sometimes I get a little bit of different coloration, so it's important to really bring the foundation down to the neck. This brush I find really good because it's like a buffer and a blender all in one, so it really gives quite a flawless, lovely finish, which is what I'm after today. Next I'm going to use the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer under my eyes and on some areas of redness I've got around my chin. I think it's just kind of hormonal spots, but they tend to leave a bit of scarring like a few days after the spot's actually gone. So I'm going to dab some of this on. That's really unhygienic, I should definitely have done that on my finger first. And under my eyes. And then the first thing I do is blend with my finger and then I'll go in with a brush afterwards. For the area on my chin, I'm going to use the same brush as my foundation, just for major blending purposes. But because that brush is too big for the under eye area, I'm going to use my Zoeva Bamboo 110 Face Shape brush, which is obviously a little bit smaller and better for the under eye area. I use mostly a tapping motion and I find that this just helps it sink in and blend with the foundation a little bit more seamlessly. And if I have any left on the brush, then I'll sometimes dab it over my eyelids, which acts as a little bit of a primer and helps my eyeshadow have a more even base. I feel like I want a little bit more coverage on my cheeks, so I'm going to apply a tiny bit more of my Rimmel Match Perfection just onto the back of my hand, about a third of the amount that I used before, dotting it onto the cheeks, and then I'm going to go back in with my foundation brush and blend that. This time I'm using more of a dabbing motion instead of a blending motion because I want it to be a little bit higher coverage. So now that I'm happy with the coverage of my base, I'm going to use one of the new H&M Beauty products, and this is their Perfectionist Finishing Powder. If you saw my haul video, you may know that I wasn't sure about the texture of it, but then I wrote in the blog post review that actually I judged it too soon. It's actually a really lovely texture, gives a really nice finish, so I'm going to use my Real Techniques. This is the ginormous, what is it called, just the powder brush, all over my face, just a really light dusting. And this one has a mirror in the lid as well, which is really good. So nice if you want to top it up on the go. I don't even really need to tap off the brush with this one because it is such a lovely light finish. But it's great for just setting down the foundation before I start anything else. And a bit of de-shine as well. And then I'm using a smaller brush. This is one of my Real Techniques Bold Metals, just in the under eye area because I didn't want to go too close with the big brush earlier. This will really help to set down my under eye makeup because we don't want that going anywhere throughout the day. Now that my base is set, I'm going to be using the Barry M Chisel Cheeks Contour Kit just to give a little bit of cheekbone action. I'm going to start by using the middle shade. I think this one's a little bit too dark for what I'm after today, so I'm going to use the middle shade on my Real Techniques contour brush, tap that off because I don't want it to be too intense. And then I'm going to suck my face in so that I figure out where my cheekbones are. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with the other side as well. I still think it's a little bit prominent, so I'm going to use my powder brush, the same one that I used before. I haven't cleaned it or anything, just to blend it in with my overall base. This just helps it give a slightly more natural look, seeing as it's an everyday makeup look. Next I'm going to use that same shade in kind of a figure of 3 movement all over, hair and face, all over my forehead, cheekbone and under my chin. This will help to give the face a little bit of shape but also some warmth as well. I normally use my Bobbi Brown bronzer brush, but Dexter was chewing it earlier and now I don't know where it is, so I'm just going to use my portable one. This I think came with a bronzer, maybe all the casing's fallen off it, so it's just in the gold case now. I think this was a Guerlain bronzer from ages ago. But I'm just going to, again, dab it on the middle shade and then starting on the forehead, just create a bit of colour on my whole face. Next I'm going to apply some blusher, and I've got 2 incredible ones from the H&M Beauty range. I've got Deep Brown, which is a powder blusher in this gorgeous black casing. That's that one. Or I've got Cameo Brown, you can tell I'm loving the brown blushes for autumn, which is a powder blush in the white casing. For this look, I think I'm going to use the powder blush just because I find that creams sometimes can dislodge the contouring and I'm a little bit more comfortable with powders. So I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown blusher brush, just lightly dab it on this one. It's actually not that pigmented, so give it a good old swirl. Tap it off, although it doesn't really need tapping, this is quite solid. And then apply to the apples of my cheeks. Then with the same brush I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution London Ultra Blush Palette. Now this is called a blush palette, but I actually find that all of the shades, and you can see there's so many gorgeous shades in here, and they're very marbled, a bit like the Hourglass Ambient Light blusher, and all of them are absolutely stunning. I'm going to use, I think, the brownie one again because I've used a brownie blush, but actually I'm going to use it as a highlighter because although it has a bit of colour, it has a lot of shimmer in it as well. Not shimmer as in glitter shimmer, but just highlight shimmer, you know what I mean. And I'm just applying this just over where my blusher is. And then again I'm just going to blend everything in with my powder brush. This just helps everything to work together a little bit better. The next thing I'm going to do is sort out my brows, and I'm going to use my very old and battered Eyelure brow pencil. I feel like these came out and they were great and then everybody kind of forgot about them, but as far as budget eyebrow products go, I think these are really super. So I'm going to go and shade in my brows with the Eyelure pencil. So I've come in a little bit closer to do the eyes, and the first thing I'm going to be using is the H&M Smoky Nudes palette. You again might have seen this in my H&M Beauty haul, and it is filled with all of the most beautiful autumnal browns. So I'm going to start with the lighter shades up on the brow bone and over the whole of the eyelid. And I'm going to use one of my Too Faced makeup brushes just to sweep it over the eyelid area. I'm using the lightest shade just under the actual eyebrow as it helps to heighten the eyebrow. My eyebrows are not my best point, so we just try and sweep them away, and then using the middle one here, which is slightly pinky brown, all over the lid. And then I'm going to use one of the new Bourjois Cream to Powder Ombre Paupiere eyeshadows, and this is a really lovely almost pinky brown colour. It's called Emalvante shade 04, and again using the same brush, just going to apply this over just the lid of the eye. I'd say the quality of these is slightly better than the H&M ones, so it's nice to create a base with the H&M, but then I think it does make a difference to go in with the Bourjois afterwards, even though they're really similar colour. I'm not going to go too heavy on the eyes because this look is mostly going to be about the lips, but the next shade that I'm going to use, another Bourjois Ombre Matte powder, is Noctam Brune. This is shade 08, and I'm going to use that around the crease and blend that over the lid as well. Because I've gone a little bit darker than I intended, I'm going to go back to the H&M palette and use one of the lighter shades just to sweep over the general eye area. So the overall eye look is quite a light, smoky brown eye, and I've been using different combinations of products to achieve this on an everyday basis, but now I'm going to use my Rose Gold Tweezerman eyelash colours and the new Rimmel Super Colour 24-Hour Mascara Volume and Curve? No, but this mascara basically. Because I'm not using any eyeliner, I'm going to go quite heavy with the curling and the mascara, just so that the eyes do balance out the heavy lips. It's got a lovely curved wand, so you really could probably get away without using an eyelash curler, but I like to do both. And then I'm actually going to twist the brush around and use the underside of it to really nestle into the lashes to create more volume on the outer lashes. I find that the coats with this mascara dry really quickly, so you can go in with the second coat almost straight away, which is great if you're doing the makeup in a bit of a rush. There's something about this comb, but it really does separate out all the lashes, so it's great for volume and separate lashes. So it depends what kind of look you're going for, but you can create kind of a dainty, girly girl look with this mascara, or a really bold lash. And because I want them to be a bit fatter, I'm going to go in with another coat just to build it up and get some super volume. Okay, so that's, I'd say, 2.5 coats of the Rimmel mascara, and I think it looks like quite a dramatic eye look considering I haven't got any eyeliner on. So I've been really liking this mascara recently. Lasting power is really good, not 24-hour I would say, but then I've got a nasty habit of picking my lashes, but maybe if I didn't pick them it would last for 24 hours. So I've really been impressed with this one, and as far as a drugstore mascara goes, it's definitely my favourite at the moment. And then finally the lips, but before we get started, I'm just going to use this new spray that I've been using. It was a recommendation from Becca and she absolutely swears by it. I used to use the Urban Decay, but this is just so much cheaper, and it's the Revolution Pro Fix Oil Control Fixing Spray. So I'm going to give my face a quick spritz of this before I go in with the lipstick. It's not got the nicest smell, it's a little bit chemical-y, but it really works and it does keep my oily skin in place. Oily skin in place? Keeps my makeup in place and my oiliness in check throughout the day. And it's got rose gold packaging, so no surprise, I really like this one. So I've got a couple of the new Rimmel London lipsticks here. I think they're called The Only One. This is a really new release and it was their whole makeup revolution. Is it revolution? No, Rimmel Revolution campaign. The shades that I've got here are 710, which is Easy Does It, and 810, which is One of a Kind. And 710 is more of a brownie red, whereas 810 is more of a burgundy, but I haven't really decided which one I'm going to go for. I think with this makeup look, maybe the brownie one might be better, but I'm going to use my lip brush to apply it just to get a little bit more precision. And first I'm going to use my Rimmel Exaggerate Full Colour Lip Liner. I was obsessed with this last winter, I wore it all the time, and equally obsessed this year. I've got the shade 018 Addiction, and it's a really lovely brownie pink, so it's quite similar to my natural lip colour, but better. So I think that's great for basically any kind of lipstick. And then going in with 710 with the lip liner brush. Okay, I'm really happy with that. I think this is a lovely shade. It's perfect for everyday, whereas I think the other one might have been a little bit too dramatic for an everyday look. The texture of the new Rimmel lipsticks, they feel very balmy when they go on, and they're somewhere in between a gloss and a matte. This is definitely not matte because, as you can see, there's a bit of shine going on. Definitely not a gloss either because there's not a huge amount of shine, so it really is just somewhere in the middle. They feel really lovely and texturizing, just like a balm on the lips, but of course with that balmy texture it means that the staying power isn't amazing. I've definitely had better staying power, but from a drugstore lipstick, and the price and the colour range of these really is spectacular, so I've been really liking the new Rimmel lipsticks. So yeah, that was 710 Easy Does It with the Exaggerate lip liner, and this has been a combination which I've been using quite regularly, and sometimes when I've been mixing it up I've been adding in the Urban Decay, which I think I featured in last month's favourites, but that's not a drugstore product, so a great alternative to that one is definitely this one here by Rimmel. And that's it, that was the final step. So this is my complete everyday did I say that already? My complete everyday autumn makeup routine using some drugstore products. Really hope you found this makeup look useful, and let me know if you recreate this at home. I'd love to see your everyday makeup looks. If there's any products that you've been really loving for autumn, let me know in the comments, because I'm really looking to try some new things at the moment, especially drugstore. After the Makeup Revolution blush set in particular, my eyes have been reopened to how many amazing things are available in the drugstore. So please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to see more makeup routines from me. I know I don't do them very often. If you're new to this channel, then it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe, hit the little red button, I think it's down there, I'm getting better at this, and in that case I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye!